Hey everybody, this is Unfiltered with Bryant and Maureen. I am Maureen Grodzinski. This is my co-host, Bryant Rice.
Right. Oh, there you go.
Tonight on our show, we are going to be having, hopefully, if he shows up, he had another thing before this, but we will be hosting an absolute legend of our time. I know him as a cuddle bear. He is also an actor. He is what most of you don't know, um, a federal protective service officer for the Department of Homeland Security. You would likely know him as a longtime pro wrestler at World X-treme Wrestling C4, WWE wrestler, ECW and WXW. He's also the cousin of Dwayne Johnson, or A.K.A. The Rock. He is part of the Samoan dynasty, LA Smooth, Alofa. He's one of my dear friends. He's absolutely amazing, and we hope to see him soon. He is known as Lloyd Anoa'i. He's not here yet, so we will talk a little bit amongst ourselves and hopefully get rid of whatever is making this noise. Um, Brian, you want to talk about what we've been doing recently?
Um, well, what we've been doing recently, we just came back from Niagara Falls and everything, doing a couple shoots and everything for the upcoming fourth season of
Yeah.
Walker. If you guys don't know what that is, that's paranormal investigation and a lot of reenacting of what has been going on in these haunted locations. Super, super blessed to be able to, be along with them and to, do these episodes and everything. Me and Maureen had great times of doing this. When I'm shooting, she's down there. She sees me, she starts laughing. So, I mean, it's really great. Well, hopefully, season five. I don't know when that's going to come back out or come out. Hopefully, that comes out in there, so we can continue to do that. Super fun, with those type of people. Shout out to Nick Groff for the opportunity to have us, on and work with them. It's great. Sean, shout out to Sean and everything.
Dan,
Yeah,
Angela,
Dan,
all of you guys.
Angela, all of you guys. You guys have been great, great hospitality. It's been super fun, just to travel and see them and joke and laugh and everything. One of the best, casting crews I've ever been with. One before that was with the Binge. That was fun, but that was more of being serious, and they didn't really want to intertwine with the fooling around and the seriousness and stuff. But which I understand, but at the same time, you gotta have some giggles in there. Have to have some good laughs. But that's what we've been doing the past couple of weeks and everything, broadcasting, getting our names out there and everything. Just having a good time.
Yeah, and we also have to give a shout out to Anthony at Seekers of the Paranormal, and we've also been working with Dark Echoes. We have
Dark
been
Echoes.
Dark Echoes.
Shout out to Matt. Shout out to Matt.
Matt and Tammy and Mark and Katrina and Luba and everybody else that we've been working with. We have been filming some paranormal with them as well. In that case, though, we have actually been doing investigations, and much love to you guys too. We have been doing some investigating, and I've been doing some, psychic mediumship for that, and that's going to continue for, let's see, we have at least 3 more shows that I can think of, and we've been going out to haunted locations there, and that's so much fun. We've been having a blast, and we can't keep a straight face with that Brian's been doing some filming, and he's been learning how to do that, which is super cool. I don't know. We've been having a really great time with everybody.
Right. It's just like it's super fun. It really is. Just to be able to. The biggest thing is too is like traveling. You know, like you get to drive a couple hours. It's just being on the road, knowing what you're doing. So when we went to the location in Niagara Falls, to Deathwalker, we're walking. She's like, "Hey, Brian, doesn't this makes you feel like you run the town and everything?" I'm like, "Well, I don't know about run the town, but having something, having a purpose,
Yeah,
like, yeah, I'm
that's
shooting.
what I meant.
So, yeah, yeah. So, it was great.
We scared some people a little bit. Bryant had some blood and some slices in his face and some bruising.
I know, they're all laughing at me. Like, what's wrong with this guy? Read the sign, we're filming.
Yeah, and then I had like the ghostly face. So they saw him first, and they were like, "Oh my God, what happened to this poor guy?" And then they see me, and they finally realized that it wasn't just he had the shit beaten out of him someplace.
Right. So they're gonna think Bryant beat me, well, I beat his ass. And I'm like, oh, okay. And you're all got this white makeup on. I'm like, okay, well, you beat me and I choked you to death, Because you were like literally pale, like it was just white.
Yeah, with the circles around the eyes. We'll have to
Yeah.
post some pictures and put that stuff up and let people know what we were up to.
No, absolutely.
But it
There's
was
some
a lot of
pictures I
fun.
don't.
Yeah, we were at some really amazing old locations, and we've driven very, very far to do what we were doing, and it was definitely worth it. We had a lot of fun, and we made some really great new friends, and um, we were truly blessed for what we've been able to do, and we met amazing. I think that's the best part of this. We've met some really, really amazing people.
Sure.
We've heard some great stories. We've talked about some things that we never thought we would hear about. Um, and yeah, Matt, we do have a huge hit coming. Dark Echoes is going to be huge, 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 huge.
Yeah. This just the tip of the iceberg. Like honestly, like I know for a fact it's going to be big. It's going to jump off. And I believe it is. Everybody believes it's going to be. And it's just staying in there and just keep notching away.
Yeah, it's too bad it takes so long to edit because
So,
I'm like dying to
yeah,
see it on the screen immediately.
yeah. No, right. I'm looking at him. Oh,
The,
cut my dang.
the clips are awesome. Yeah,
Teaser. It's a teaser. It's like eating a little snack, and he's like, "No, that was really good. I want to indulge more, but I can't."
yeah.
But
It's like a sniggity snack.
yeah, sniggity snack, my favorite word. Um, so yesterday, so my son's mother reached out to me, and she was talking to me, and she's like, "You doing those shows, those paranormals?" And I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "How'd you know about it?" She's like, "Your son told me." So he's super pumped, what I'm doing, which, it melts my heart because to see what his father's doing, with himself and, with, just, his career, what he's chasing his dream. You know what I mean? We have to be that leader, into anything that we love, moms, dads, kids, uncles, cousins, whatever it is. And, so she
And
was
it's cool that they're
talking.
so proud of us too.
Absolutely. And that, like, yeah, it goes for everybody. And she was telling me a story when she was younger. She was a baby, and the house that she lives in now, currently, um, everybody was moving in and out significantly fast. And so her dad, sold her the house and was like, instead of 150,000 or 130,000, just give me 30,000, so she's been, paying towards that. But she told me it was haunted. And so I was like, really? She's like, yeah. She said when she was a little baby, she said her mom was giving her a bath and she walked away, and I guess the curtains wrapped around her and everything. So I was pretty intrigued by that. I'm like, okay, so keep going. And at this point, she knows, what I do and who I'm with, the type of productions I work with in this industry. And so she was telling me that anytime, so she remodeled the house, and she was telling me that she before she remodeled the house, she would bless it before going in. So this is when I started to get, Maureen involved, because like this is serious. Like it's very, very serious. And if you don't know what you're doing, you could potentially start something that you can't stop.
True.
And so I could feel the energy through this, and I knew it was something big. And so I was talking to her about it. I got footages, I got photos and everything that is very intriguing, and it definitely moves some people. Like I've showed it to a couple people that's in the paranormal field, and they were like, "Wow, Matt, I know you're listening, so I did message you saying how you were doing. I was trying to talk to you and let you see some of this stuff, because you'd be surprised too." Um, so yeah, and these photos are behind our house where the fire pit is. And the fire pit from the house is probably like, I don't know, 50, 60, yards. And you could see these things during the day. They'll be chanting. You can see them at nighttime. And it's so vivid that you're like, oh my gosh, like, I'm sure, a lot of people in the paranormal field have seen stuff like that, but it really moved me. It really did. It really moved me. It chopped my breath. I couldn't breathe as normal as I usually do. And my eyes like teared up, not because I was crying, but just because like that there was so much energy there that was, that was pretty negative, So Maureen, if you want to go ahead and take over and explain your part of what you think potentially what these are.
Well, there's a lot. So there were the first picture that I saw. Um, it looked like there was kind of like a banshee type woman. Um, Behind her, I saw an extremely angry man. And then behind that, I did see what looked like a Native American shaman, and he was standing at the perimeter of the property. I actually missed someone that I'm not really sure what it is, because it's kind of just the face, but it's definitely male. And
Behind,
the one that you saw,
yes, behind the pallets and all that.
yeah, like between the wraith, banshee type woman and the man, there's like another face in there.
Yeah.
So they're all very angry though. So I believe that when the house was cleansed, it was kind of like all of this was kind of kicked out, um, and sent out onto the property, so that they're placed at the perimeter of the land, um, and they're not able to just do as they please. So they're extremely, extremely angry. I believe that the Native American shaman is angry because something was removed from the land, and there was not a ceremony to, um, replace whatever was taken, which is what you're supposed to do once something has been removed or changed. The, there was renovation in the house, so the man is kind of angry about that. Um, there, there are
Now,
so
remind you, this is back in 1991, but it could be even further than that. But since she was younger, that's when she was born.
yeah, because it doesn't necessarily mean that it's coming from that house. I mean, it could have been that the house was put on the property. It could be that the property, there was another structure on that property before that home, and things are changing. It could be that it's the property itself. It doesn't always have to be that particular home. So, um, if something is done without the knowledge of what is supposed to be done properly, that can enrage someone. And it could be done improperly so that it's just kind of displacing whatever that is. So there was another photo, and it looks like a skeleton folded up on top of another skeleton that's folded up. Um, then there were videos, and the videos are showing what is like a Wendigo. And I know a lot of people don't believe in them. They're kind of like the spirit of something that can transfer to another person or another spirit or another animal or something. And it's just it's negative. It's a negative thing. So there are all these different types of creatures or elementals or beings on this property, and if they do get angry, it you know they can be they can come alive again. So even if you're trying to say that there's something that is not great there, but you protected children or animals or your home or yourself or whatever the case may be, they can come alive because they're really, really angry, and they can do whatever they want. And Wendigos are not something that you can say, you're put in timeout and you're not allowed to go anywhere or do anything. Just like when you say to spirits, you're only allowed to come in and speak to us between 9 a.m. and 5 a.m. Monday through Friday. You're not allowed to watch us shower. You're not allowed to watch us have sex. You're not allowed to watch us do blah, blah, blah. They listen. Wendigos don't. Things that are angry, they don't do that. They're going to, do the exact opposite.
And
So,
she told me, there's another thing she told me, and she was saying that my son was out there playing. I don't know when this was, but he was living there for a while, and he come running like, "Mom, mom, mom! Like, this is crazy!" And well, they went out and looked at it. They were two dead deer, with their heads cut off, clean as a whistle, no blood, eyes gouged out. And I gave that information to her as well, and I was like, skinwalker, it could be many things. And I told her, I was like, with my abilities and everything, I was like, I'm curious now, since, I've been, awakened, and then I have these abilities, I'm a walking light, and I do attract things. And I've always told myself, in the past, like, I tell people, like, what is it about me that you see that I don't? And this is stuff that's, been occurring over time. So when I asked her that, and she's like, you got to be careful with that. And she personally said she didn't feel safe for me to go over there, in that aspect. But you gotta watch your surroundings, and we walk past, through spirits every day and not even know, we're seeing something like that and feeling that type of negative energy through a phone, is pretty serious.
yeah, it is. I mean, everything that is there is not something to mess around with. Everything seems to be extremely angry.
Yes.
So I don't know. I mean, the property definitely needs to be cleaned up and moved around, and there's a ceremony that needs to be done for the Native American shaman, and there are several things that need to be done because each thing is definitely different. So we have to, we have to see what needs to be done there because it's unsettling that these things are there.
Yeah, definitely. And she was. I told her, I was like, so it doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't, I was like, no, she just stays right there. And she's like, I told whatever it was, you know, don't harm my son or don't uncle my son, whatever the case is, or her dogs. It's just like you can't just go out there with an S on your chest and think you're like all glory of anything and you're like untouchable. Like you can't think like that. You have to have some sense too now. Like so I thought that was unprofessional on her part to to do something like that. Um, it's just, I don't know. It's curious. Now I'm like thinking to myself, like, when my son's over there, if it doesn't get taken care of, what could potentially happen? It's no difference of having a mimic a step down from, possession, and she's like, I've been doing all these things, for 6 years, but, you weren't born that way like Maureen was. She was born that way versus, you know, trying to become something, and practicing it, and it's just like, you're doing too much. It's like me got out there trying to be, Black Panther, when I know I'm not Black Panther, and I can't jump tree to tree and, limb to limb.
I think that it's not a bad thing trying to become,
No. I'm not saying that.
but it's better to find out and, seek help,
Right.
especially when there are children involved.
Absolutely.
Yeah, as Matt says, let's rock and roll. We got you.
Awesome.
We can absolutely, figure this out if help is needed. But it has to be needed. It has to want, someone has to want the help because
Right.
it's not like, kicking doors in and just taking over.
Yeah, like camera in the face and stuff like that. But what did you see here? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it can't be like that though. I mean,
Yeah.
I've talked to her about it. She's aware of Matt. I put Matt's name out there and stuff, and everything that what I've done, with Dark Echoes and what he does and everything. So she says that she's heard of you. I mean, I can't sit there and say yeah, no, but she says she has. So that's one piece of information I was trying to get out to you the other day when I was seeing how you were doing and everything. Because I want to talk to you about it and everything, and and put the ball in your court, see what you do. It's a place. You know what I mean? It's a place that I have found that they have came to me. Like I said, I'm like so she knew the stuff I do, and the people I'm with, all the time. So I know she feels a little, a lot safer knowing that, the people I'm with and I'm around and what I do and stuff like that. So that's right in New York, right in Ontario Center, right off of 104 north. So just 15 minutes out from Rochester. So and like 5 minutes from Webster.
Yeah, I think that that's something that it's happening more and more with, it starts off with something negative, it turns into a mimic, it becomes an attachment. It's like towing the line of possession. Um, you don't ever want it to become that. Mimics are dangerous enough
Yeah.
because the more and more you start to like believe in it, it becomes something else. It becomes something more. It becomes something more than that. Um, Society is not what it used to be, like Pleasantville, and um, it's our culture has become a very negative society. There's lots of things that make us, dangerous and negative. I think that with the kids the way they are, they're starting to just pick up on whatever we tell them or what they see, and We don't want it to be that way. So the supernatural and the paranormal, I think it's now become 70% of people are not religious. They're spiritual. So that's a huge difference from, back in our day. And that's not to say that it's a bad thing. I'm not religious by any means. Um, but there's a reason for this. We don't necessarily need a religion. We can be spiritual, but what happens when there's no like spiritualism either?
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, me personally, I feel like before I got into all this, it was either like, A and B, and then the gray area. Christianity, Satanism, whatever. You know, but nobody really. I think it's like people lack the knowledge of what else is out there. Potentially. Aliens. Well, everybody knows about that stuff, but like what we're dealing with and what we're talking with right now. So I feel like if more people can get involved in that and just get the understanding, not necessarily support it, if they want to, kudos to you. But at the same time, just understand that this stuff is real. This stuff is it's serious.
Mm-hmm.
Like we move in and out of places all the time. So we have to be aware of that stuff. Like my mom was huge. I was raised in the church and everything, and she used to give me up. We used to go to church, but my mom used to bless the house all the time with oil. You know what I mean? Just always. I never understood why, she did stuff like that, or she would always be like, be careful what you watch, be careful what you have in your house, because, and this is all true too. You potentially can invite something that you don't want in your house. So unless you're not aware of that, it's just not to really, do so. But if you want to, then hey, that's all on you. But there's a lot of knowledge in it that be beneficial for a lot of people to, be awakening for, what's been going on, in this world. A lot of crazy things have been going, so
Yeah,
I'm
and
aware.
like I had said to you, you don't have to be a certain religion to
No, you don't.
into this. There are Christian witches. There are, um, you know, Buddhist witches. It doesn't matter what you are, as long as that you have faith and belief in something. That's it.
Simple as that. You know, very simple as that. And I don't know. I know we were talking about some stuff as well, potential in the future. What we had in mind to do, um, but some things you can't let the cat out of the bag. Right off the rip. We have a lot of ideas and different things. You know, so
Yeah. Um, so just as a quick thing, since we're half an hour in, we were supposed to have Samoan, and he was supposed to be here. I don't know. He said there was a possibility that he may not make it, but we haven't seen him yet. So we're just talking about some things that we thought we would like pick a subject.
okay,
So
you
if
guys
you hear
entertaining.
from him, that's why he's not here yet. He may still show up. Um, Anthony, my Anthony from Dimension said, "Hey Brian, if you need to talk, give me a call. I would like to see your footage. Don't challenge it." Um, Lady V said, "What we challenging some show some footage." Um, I don't know. Maybe I'll try to get some up there. So
What you said?
she said, "What are we challenging? Show some footage."
Okay.
Bryant is saying that his son's mom had sent some pictures and some video, and what I'm seeing in the pictures are a banshee, a shaman, a very angry man, and there's another male's face in the picture as well, all angry. She had basically thrown them out of her home when she did a blessing, but now they're not leaving the perimeter of the property. There is kind of like a skeleton folded up on top of another skeleton inside of some kind of thing on the property, and it's all negative. But then there was also kind of like a Wendigo kind of thing, moving around in the bushes, like shifting.
Yeah, like it was like dancing, like it had music, like it was like, yeah, mess with me, like see what happens. Like it had no fear of nothing.
Yeah. So that's what we're discussing, and I don't know if anybody wants to get in on the conversation, but also
Yeah,
like, share, subscribe, comment, please. If you have any kind of thoughts on this, please talk about it. You guys are some of the smartest people that I've ever seen in our comment sections on both this show and Dimensions of Supernatural. Oh, she wants to know what's on your wall back there, Bryant. They're actually things that my husband collects. They are Native American bows and arrows. They are war clubs and hatchets and things like that. Some of them are actually replicas, but some of them are real. So, yeah, they're probably attached to something too.
Yeah, like, well, and that goes back to what I was talking about, about my mom, having things in your house. You know what I mean? Like Maureen would say, as you would say, she'd feel weird down here. There's just, weird vibes down here. Potentially, yeah. Like I know when I came down here, I could feel a lot of energy that was unease, But I know that those have gotten stronger because I've overcame them type of things. So anything can have attachment on them, not necessarily negative, but, some type of vibe and everything.
I don't feel anything negative down there, although
I don't.
Before Bryant and I met, there were little kids that would play hide and go seek with me. And they would hide in the closet behind him, way back in the corner by the pirate. And then I would go to do the laundry, and they would come out when I was. That's Pete the pirate, by the way. They would kind of hide in the closet, and then as I was putting laundry in, they would come back out, and I would hear them giggle, and you could hear them kind of like their small feet running, and then they would kind of hide again, and I would say, I can hear you and I can find you, and then they would giggle again, and I would go upstairs, and then I finally decided it wasn't a place for kids to be. Should be with their parents, so I asked if they would want to cross over, and they should be with their mom and dad, and they crossed, so they were no longer there. But the interesting part about this is, and I should probably tell this story because I don't think I've ever really told it to anyone besides the people in this house. My son's friend and his partner were putting flooring in the basement, and I was home while they were doing it, and they were kind of like talking and laughing and whatever while they were doing it. And I heard them stop completely when they prepped the floor the first day. They put the flooring down, and then they had to use a machine that would roll the stuff down and tighten it. So I heard them flying up the stairs, and they came running up to look for me. And this kid, he was very comfortable in my house. My son's friends all called me Ma. And he's like, Ma, this is the craziest thing. I've never seen anything like this. There could be cats. Are the cats meowing? Or no?
No, Stormy's just sitting here looking herself.
So he said, this is the craziest thing that's ever happened to me. We plugged the machine in all the way across the room where the stuff is on the wall, and they were on the furthest part of the room where Brian is, and they were using the pressure machine. It's a pressurized machine, and he said the only way to change the pressure on it is to use the knob or turn it, or to unplug it, and the whole machine shut down. like it just, the power went way down to like 20 or whatever. And he said it was still plugged in, but it was like low pressure. And he went back over the machine and the whole knob was turned all the way down. So he went back over and he turned it back up. And he turned it back up again and he walked back over and he started using the machine, and then it totally shut off completely and it was unplugged. He said that has never happened to him before. And he said, I'm done. I'm never working in this house again, but I will always come back for meatloaf. So they were terrified and they ran out of the house. But they also said that they had opened that back door, where the closet was, the kids were. And he said that there were like black crickets flying out of there like it was a plague of locusts. And when I went downstairs, there was nothing. Absolutely nothing. There were none on the floor. There were none dead. There were none in the closet. Nothing. So the two of them, they refused to come back to do any kind of work ever again. It was just crazy and insane. But yeah, it was weird. So they beckon for ceremony. Yeah, like when he gets new stuff, like there's pictures on the wall over there, he'll ask me to read them. And it was really weird because one of the, I don't know a whole lot about Native Americans. I think it's just part of the education system here in Pennsylvania. They don't do anything about like the Wild West or like Midwest. And he'd ask me to read the pictures that he got. And as I was reading them, I said something about Custer, and he kind of like looked at me really quickly, and I said, I heard Trail of Tears, which this sounds so stupid and it makes me sound like I'm a complete idiot, but I wasn't really even sure what that meant. And then I heard something about birds, and I said, I'm hearing like somebody jumps off a cliff into water and they say Geronimo. And when I said that, he said, okay, I'm gonna take it from there then. And he said, this man, his nickname was Birdman, which was crazy to me. And he said they were Custer's. Oh, and I said scout at the beginning. Like I said, it's like Boy Scouts. This doesn't make sense to me. So when I said scout, they were scouts for Custer. And I didn't know that Custer had scouts. And he said they worked for him, and they were his like watchmen or spies. It was the craziest thing. Like the whole thing just wound up being accurate. And he said, and then this picture is Geronimo, which was like in the stack. So it was really, really crazy. So it's been like a weird journey with these things. And I think I know what you mean about needing the ceremony type thing. I don't know if that's cats, but it sounds like there's kind of like a little screeching thing, or
could it be potentially the AC?
I don't know.
No, it could be the Bluetooth box. I don't know.
It could be.
It could be.
Bryant, you should reach out to the local Native American tribe for help.
I'll take a look into that.
Well, there's one here in the Poconos that we could talk to. It's distinctive meows. I have seen like a ghost cat in the house, and it was one of my ex cats. So that's also strange.
Yeah.
She said it's distinctive meows.
Huh.
Interesting. Brian, do you feel like it's a weird energy down there now?
No, not at all.
I've cleansed that twice now.
Right. Well, remember when you were doing that, you came down, you asked me, do you feel different? I didn't respond. because I didn't want to. I just at that point I didn't want to sit there and say no, and then like just I don't know create something, make you feel bad or whatever the case is. I just didn't want to, but
No, I just
I
want.
did. Yeah, at that point in time, I did still feel that energy around.
Yeah.
Ever since you put the salt down and everything,
Well, the
I
first
can't.
time we were dealing with a lot. Like there was a lot of negative energy. Plus, we had a mimic in the house. There was an open portal in a mirror. There's been a lot of stuff going on, and now I think it feels way, way better. It seems like it's a lot more positive.
Yes, yes. It's just regular house. Nothing there. Um, like I said, I can't sit there and say I feel anything. There's points in times, and I could barely see just because like all that energy I could feel, around me, just different things, you know. There's times I would hear like a voice, but maybe like a whisper or any little thing, like corner my eyes, like more aware than I've ever been in my life ever since I've been, awakening, having my abilities and stuff. So I just, and I meditate as well, and I just stay grounded, and just, be aware of my surroundings and stuff like that. Be on point if I do feel something or hear something, like and I notice this too. So I will, if I do hear something, um, whatever it is, I will try to play it back. So if I'm watching a movie and it's something like I've never heard, I will replay to see if it was the TV. You know what I mean? Like as a be troubleshooting stuff. Like for example, my hearing. Like I was sitting here one day, I had my hoodie, and it felt like somebody like flicked my earring, and then it jingled. So I was just like, okay, like that was weird. Like my heart was racing a little bit. I'm like, okay, that's weird. So then I would position where the earring could potentially be, and then I would move it to if I can feel that same reaction I did the first time. So it was just those type of things that I do. Um, but no, down here I don't feel anything. You know,
I always cleanse myself before I leave a location. Like
you,
I was at the Shanley with Anthony, and I made sure I cleansed myself before I went home, so I wouldn't bring anything with me. I made a point that when I was, with Dark Echoes, anytime we go someplace, I cleanse myself before I go home. Anytime I've been with Nick Roff and those guys, I always cleanse myself before I go home, so I don't bring anything from there. Um, but I mean, you can if there's, say, for instance, there's a teenage girl who's going through puberty, or she's anxious, or she has something going on, or if there's someone who's going through menopause and they have, things going on, it could possibly be that they're creating something, especially if they have abilities. So it doesn't have to be that you're like in a haunted location or you're bringing something home with you or whatever the case may be. It could be that someone has abilities and they're creating a PK manifestation as well. But I mean, the mimic that we had, this was definitely not this was not positive in any way.
no, it definitely wasn't. Definitely wasn't because I told her when she cleansed the house. That was another thing I said too. I was like, it's a bit just laughing. Like, huh, like, what are you doing? Like, you ain't getting rid of me, because at that point, it was almost as if anything wasn't working. But that's when you were talking to Anthony, correct? And then you used the ghost box, whatever.
When I was talking to Anthony,
Yeah, and yeah, you were saying you were talking to him and you figured it out. You were asking the box where it came from and everything.
oh yeah, that was after one of our shows on a Thursday night. Anthony saw black smoke come out of the corner of my office, and then he said he saw like a dark black shadow figure pop its head in from out of the corner. and he wanted to know if there was someone with me, and I said no. And he said, there's a black mist coming in through the corner of your office. So we were asking his SB7, I think he has.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it said um, that it came from a place that has food. So it would have either been the dining room or the kitchen. And we said, what color is the room? And it said blue, which would be both. And then we asked, what does it have in it? And it said mirrors, which would have only been the dining room. And I said, where did you come from? And it said portal, which we have found that the mirrors have portals in them.
Now, I thought you said this, but I'm like I could be wrong, or it could be another incident, whatever. I tell you when you asked, that's where it came from. It said outside. Because remember when Todd was sitting there at the chair when he got home from work, and he shut the door and locked it and everything.
Oh,
He
yeah,
said
yeah.
he felt the
With that incident, right. But I think that was something different because when he came home, so it was extremely cold that night. He came home from work, he sat on the couch, and he had locked the lock on the doorknob and he locked the latch lock. And he said he felt extremely cold all of a sudden, and he got up to check the door, and the door was wide open. And then he saw a shadow figure run up the stairs. So he closed the door, locked it, looked up the stairs, there was nothing there, and he sat back down. And then it was either the night after that or 2 nights later, I was sleeping and he was asleep as well, and I was face down, but I could hear while I was still sleeping in my head that I heard padded feet that woke me up, and then I heard padded feet coming up the stairs, and when I kind of like picked my head up and turned, there were two little beings, a 3-foot being and a 2-foot being, and they were kind of opaque yet still translucent somehow. And they had it was like an oil puddle around the edges they were pink on the edges. And I heard here healing, like they were there for healing. So they were more alien-esque or extraterrestrial. But the mimics wouldn't be that. That would be more negative, like kind of get on the verge of attachment.
right.
I was making dinner and I saw you. I was making dinner. I looked out the back window and I saw you on the deck, and you were in a red hoodie. And then I heard something coming from the other direction. And when I looked, you had a white hoodie on and you were coming down the hallway, which they mimic a person, but there's like one thing that's not normal about that. So you would have been in red and then you would have been in white.
Right.
When Tom was sitting on the couch, he turned to look at Izzy. She was sitting on the end of the couch, and then he heard someone come like bounding down the steps. When he looked, she was there, and he said, I thought you were just sitting at the end of the couch. And when he looked, she was gone. It could be something like the face is kind of blurred out, or it could be something is different about clothing, or it could be that there's a sneer on the face. Like something's always off when it comes to a mimic. But it's been several times, just like I said when we were out to dinner and she called and she was crying hysterically, and she said, I need you to come home right now. It sounds like you're talking on the phone to a client in every single room of the house, but you're saying something different. And it can become very scary because it starts to gnaw at your brain and make you think like you're crazy.
Yeah, exactly. And then you potentially, if you don't take care of it, then potentially you're gonna go crazy.
And then it becomes an attachment, and you feel the weight, and it starts to, it attaches to you. It starts to drive you crazy. It starts to make you become paranoid. It starts to make you angry and belligerent, and it makes you think that everyone's against you and all those things.
Yeah, all the abnormal things, and only you know that. That's why when I don't know if it was right around that time or after, but do a lot of work down here, so I'm down here, and when you're in a wall and you see it 24/7 a day, even though you're looking down, writing or working on something, it doesn't matter. It's just the same location. So once I start feeling myself to that point, I was getting overwhelmed, and unease and everything. I had to get out, so I got out and I started walking. I was walking like let's see, 9 miles a day, 3 times a day, and just to get that exercise, get that brain flowing where it needs to be, think about other things, looking at nature, stuff like that, because like she says, won't take care of it, potentially can overcome. So you as a person, when you have the opportunity to think, okay, this is not normal, so I'm gonna correct it. You can't slack on it. You gotta literally jump up and get it. So that.
Yeah, and then once you take that slippery slope and it goes downhill and you're already, negative and you're angry and you're snapping at people and you're paranoid and you have all that going on and that mimic is bothering you on a daily basis and it's making you think that someone's over here, someone's over there, and why are they in a red sweatshirt? Why are they in a white? Then the possession starts to take over.
Yeah, yeah. So it's better to catch those little things and address it ASAP. And one thing I've learned from Maureen too, after meeting her and everything, and knowing my awakening in my village and stuff, she's like, pay attention. She's like, you have to pay attention. All the small details, numbers to, just very small, fine details. And I've always been like that, but in this whole genre is completely different. So now, like when I'm filming and everything, I'm still aware. I'm still aware of things. When I was filming with Dark Echoes and everything, I got that pinch. And I reported it. I'm aware at that point. Like, okay, I felt something. I'm aware. So when you have things like that, you can't just be oblivious and be like, oh, it's nothing. Like, no, it is something, because that's when things are going to happen, and you're going to be like, wow, I wish I did something. Kind of like, well, not kind of, but just like, my son's mother, like she knew this stuff was going around and going on. Like, why wasn't this not said at all? I went over there to spend the night the day before my brother's wedding. Like, why was it not addressed to me? You know what I mean? Like, at that point in time, I didn't know you, but I still would have known. And then once all this would have happened, I'd have been like, okay, we can like troubleshoot this. We can, take care of this or whatever, quiet.
Yeah, but I think people think you're totally crazy. Some people will make you feel like you're going mad. Some people don't want to hear about it and they think that it's not real. So, they question everything about it, and then they tell you that it sounds stupid or it's ridiculous or whatever, and you don't want to look like you're losing your mind, or you feel like you could take care of it yourself. So, you don't want to bring it up.
Yeah, and that, I told you, like, and I've told multiple people, it's just those things you just don't bring up, because not just because, oh, I'm going to get taken down. Like, I care less about that, but what I do care about is, like, when I'm being sincere and I'm explaining something to somebody, they start getting, to the point where they're like, okay, what color shirt am I wearing? You know what I mean? Like, dude, it's not a joke. It's like, it's really not a joke. And then when it happens, that's when you're like, oh my gosh, like, yeah, like he wasn't joking or she wasn't joking. Yeah, we weren't joking. We're trying to tell you this, and you're not paying attention. Like, you got to be about your wits at all times. You got to be about your wits. So many people are so comfortable because we have these in our hands 24/7, or we're just watching TV all the time. But you still have to be aware of your surroundings as well as everything else. You just have to. Something feels weird. like something feels weird. Not as much as if you had abilities or you can feel energy and stuff like that, but still, as somebody that doesn't, you still feel that you're uncomfortable. Like I was talking to Mary. I told you about Mary on the way back. When I was telling her about my whole situation. She was like, right? She's like, I totally agree with you. Like, she's like, I don't think you're crazy. She's like, I completely understand. And I told her the phone incident too. Like that's one of my abilities that, I dream about something. If it's something to the point that I should know, or it's a message for somebody else, in that dream, I had to relate to it. You know what I mean? I had to relate them the message that I had in my dream. So she was like, she doesn't go to, like, she can't be at her house alone. She said it just feels weird. Like she thinks like there's stuff there because she's like when the kids, when the boys are at their friends or wherever, she's like I cannot be here. She's like I had to literally leave the house and wait till somebody's there. She said she was sitting in the living room and she felt like someone was watching her.
That's your own. That's your own house. That's your own house. You're paying a rent or a mortgage for, and you can't even be in your own house by yourself.
Yeah.
Like you need to fight for yourself. Fight for what you own. Fight for what's yours.
Absolutely. And well, because that's what I mean. So many people are unaware of this stuff. Now if they're aware, then you could be there by yourself and do something to keep you level. You know what I mean? Or reach out to somebody or something. Like I knew people that literally sold their house and got out of it. Like just because there's something there, I mean, like you said, you got to fight. You got to fight it. Fight it, get it out, do whatever you got to do. Like that's you pay the mortgage there, you pay the electric bill and the gas bill. That whatever's there does not at all pay for anything.
But here's the thing: you're not going to be by yourself in your house. Yet you think that your children are going to be what puts a barrier between that and you. You're supposed to be able to take care of yourself and your children.
Yeah.
Your kids are not your shield.
No, absolutely not. You got to. It's just, and it's, her thing was just like, when they were out and about, she just couldn't be there by herself. I'm like, well, that's very uncomfortable. If you feel that uncomfortable, then you might want to have somebody look into it. It could be a family member. And I'm not saying it's necessarily could be negative. But it could be a spirit there. It could be her dad. Her dad passed away. It could be that. You know what I mean? Visiting or whatever, but you don't know that. You got to be aware of it, man.
It could even be anything, and she's just making herself feel uncomfortable because if someone passed away, and like V said, if she had that lonely feeling because that person passed away, it could just be that loneliness that's just a sinking, dark feeling.
Right.
Which does do that. It does feel, it summons something dark.
Yeah. You got to have joy, man.
Right.
Or else tiring.
This is so sad that it's gotten to this point. Like, because I'm now thinking that really, when you think about it, so if you have like young girls who are teenagers and they're going through puberty and that causes a PK manifestation, and you have women who are going through menopause and they're having hormonal things that can cause a PK manifestation. What doesn't cause a PK manifestation? If you lose someone and you're going through those thoughts, or if you're suicidal, and that all of those things can cause a PK manifestation. We're all going through things that maybe can create that. Because really anything that's hormonal or mental or whatever can cause a PK manifestation.
Absolutely.
Because
Absolutely.
if you're having something like that, all of those things can cause a physical reaction in the body or the opposite. So technically anyone can cause a PK manifestation.
Yeah, absolutely right. That's why
And they probably
it's
didn't
so.
think to do the research on things like that because we're just now getting to the point where, bullies are at school and they don't come home with you. But now we also have social media.
Yes.
So look at how much things have changed and they haven't even done enough research to look into this.
Exactly. That picks up from what I was talking about earlier. Like we're so distracted by all these things. That's the least that we're gonna do is like look up potentially. What's going on in my house or whatever. 'Cause nobody doesn't. They don't go by that stuff. They don't. It's just the generation has changed. Simple as that. It's
Yeah.
changed. It's different. You know.
So it's not just social media or computers or whatever, but people are changing physically as well because of hormones in food or like all of those things could actually be making a change with what we're seeing as well. We're hearing.
Yeah. We don't know what the FDA is putting in the food. You know what I mean to make us go crazy. I know in Chipotle, the Chipotle sauce. Um, no, not Chipotle sauce, but the Chick-fil-A. It's there's a three-letter word in there, and I learned this. A guy told me that word, and he says what it does is it messes you with your brain mentally, and literally after a while starts to make you hallucinate and slowly go crazy. And I was like, wait a minute. He's like, he said, you think I'm joking? He says, look it up, bud. And I did. And it's not in Polynesian sauce, but it's only in Chick-fil-A sauce as well. So what the kicker is, it tastes great. It's great sauce.
Just make you want more Chick-fil-A,
Who?
the sauce.
Yeah, it's like, yo, come eat me. Come get this sauce. You know what I mean? And then here you are. You're getting the sauce on top of getting, lonely with the bins, But got to be careful what you put in the body as well, where you're at.
Anthony says all emotion can cause manifestations.
Yeah.
And then throw in hormones or
I
a mental
think.
illness or, whatever. V says, I agree with the parrot clubber. Lady, that is Anthony, my Thursday co-host. And she says that shit's in everything. So is it MSG?
I believe so.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't know. I got to look at it again. But
Does that mean you're going for
she knows.
Chick-fil-A?
Huh?
Does that mean you're going for
Yeah.
Chick?
Hey, I'm telling you. Let's look this up. Let's look this sauce up real quick.
Survey says.
Well, like she says, it's in everything. I just that's the first time me catching it in the Chick-fil-A sauce, and I was like, it makes a lot of sense that it was so good, so good. I love Chick-fil-A sauce, but I love Polynesian better. And my ex used to yell at me because I used to use it on everything. She quote, my cookies not good. I'm like, no, it's not that. It's just I love the sauce. Like I love Polynesian sauce. It's the
So it would
tacos.
be monosodium
Yeah, yeah,
glutamate. Is that it?
yeah,
That's
yeah,
it then.
yeah. That's it. So I apologize. It wasn't a three-letter word. I thought it was, but no, that's what it was. That's exactly what it was. Because it was a weird name. I'm like, I felt like I was going Chinese for a minute when I was reading that. Hold on, let me take my time real quick.
Oh my God.
The man looked at me and said, "You got it? You all right?" I was like, "Yeah, I got it."
You got it? You all right?
Yeah, I got it. You in the tank? Okay, we are here. We are in the building live. Unfiltered with Bryant Maureen. Right, it's horrible stuff, man. Horrible stuff.
Anthony says crack fillet.
Crack fillet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, I don't even like it that much. There's really not a flavor to it.
No, see, the thing is, it really is. Like it's
Oh.
everything is fresh. I don't care what you go to, what location you go to. You drive in there, it's fresh. I mean, I could be wrong, but all I know is from the time Chick-fil-A came out, and I've been eating that because I worked down in Florida, doing construction. Everybody was going to Chick-fil-A, and I was there. And the fries were fresh. The sandwich was fresh. The lemonade, squeezy, squeezy, fresh.
Easy peasy. No, I don't really like it. It doesn't have a flavor to it. It doesn't have that like 11 seasonings in it. I like Popeyes and I like KFC. We really should be getting an advertising royalty from this right now. Pay us.
For sure, for sure, for sure.
So if you want to pay us, we're waiting. All right. So it's 9:06. Still no Lloyd. I still love him.
Absolutely.
Maybe we'll get him for next time. This was a cool conversation, though. This was a really good topic.
Yeah.
Everybody like this one?
Yeah. Don't lie. Tell the truth. Like my mom said, tell the truth, shame the devil. You know what I mean? So, even though he didn't come on, we're gonna have him back on. Anything can happen though to anybody. Could have had a flat tire. Or could have ate something that messed up his stomach, and he shredded himself. Anything can happen. So, give the man a benefit of that, so.
No, he had another podcast before this, he said.
Oh, there it is. So he's probably not even done with that, so.
Maybe not. We're not mad, bud.
Absolutely not. We love people.
We don't want to take up too much of everybody's time. We just wanted to, don't curse my tires, damn it. We love when you guys come and hang out with us, though. This one was fun. I think we needed this one. This one was just a fly by the seat of your pants kind of thing.
Yeah, come sit on Santa's lap, like one of those ordeals. What do you want for Christmas?
Yeah, no. If you ever want to have if you have an idea for a show topic or something, give us a shout and let us know what you want to hear about. We'll be happy to come up with something. Or if one of you guys want to be interviewed, let us know.
Absolutely.
This is for just a fun time and, get people's names out there or whatever they do. Or she said, y'all love my banter. We do.
Yeah. There we go.
V, you should be on our show.
Yeah. Come on. What slot do you want? What Tuesday of the week do you want?
What Tuesday of the week?
No, Tuesday. What Tuesdays of the week you want? So you want next week, you want the week after that, in what month? She's typing. I feel it. She's typing.
I wish we could. That was just a way to say,
Yeah.
Yeah, give us topics. We don't care how crazy they are either. We can go with that totally. 4 in a day.
Yeah.
Ron wants to interview me and Anthony when we get to Gettysburg. Anthony, what do you think about that? I think we're going to be interviewing people. I'm speaking on Saturday. I guess it just depends on how busy we are.
Yeah.
Hopefully I get some sleep and I'm actually on time and I'm awake.
Signing autographs and everything,
No autographs.
I know. I'm just joking.
The Hollywitch. The Hollywitch.
The
Sandwich. So nobody has questions? Nobody wants to ask anything?
Yes. Anything about any, subject that we were talking about?
Going through menopause, and there have.
Are you playing me back? He says, if we can fit it in. No autographs. I was going to sign your clock. The what?
It was glitching for a minute.
Was it? That's not good. That's way behind. I never had that problem before, Anthony. We can make it work. All right, everybody. So if you don't have any questions, we said 8 to 9. It's now 9:10. We don't want to keep you from what you're doing. We're going to keep this a short show from like 8 to 9, so you're not taking up all your time.
Yeah. Like we always said too, if it goes a little longer than that, it's not a big deal. If it's a big subject or whatever, that's cool, that's fine. But typically it's 8 to 9.
So, and V, I'm still waiting for a friend request from you.
Yeah, aren't we all?
911. 911. Is that what our show's going to be about? Oh, 9/11, 911.
Oh, I should have been on that one. We said just 911. Right? Me, when I was younger, when they said, call the emergency department, I dialed 119. They never let me live that down. But I knew it. I knew the number though because they were always calling on me. Because they thought I was some type of person in the yard, doing something weird.
You were always in trouble?
No, it's because of what? They're like 911. Yeah, I got African American in the front yard. I don't know what he's doing. No. No. I was never in trouble. I was, everyone does this thing when they're younger. I was about thieves back in the day. Not anymore. About peace, love. Huh?
No.
No. I hung those gloves up a long time ago. Unless it comes to my family. That's about it. Or myself. You know what I mean? Or Maureen. You know what I mean? Like, so. Because if anything like that happens, I'm going to make sure I'm going to play that song. Mama say will knock you out. You know what I mean? So, no, we have each other's back, though. So you can play any fire you want. You're bound
All right, everybody. Well, we are done for this evening. Make sure you watch on Thursday for Anthony and myself on Dimensions of the Supernatural. We will be with Gotham Paranormal. Until then, this is Unfiltered with Bryant and Maureen. We love you. Peace out.
Peace out. See you next time.